Well, hello, members of the UCSB community. I'm Don Lubach. I'm an associate ombuds at the UCSB Ombuds Office, presently out in the world with the rest of you. Well, for the next 10 minutes or so, you get to meet with Molly Wetta, who is a librarian downtown. She's actually the library service manager for the Santa Barbara Public Library. I was able to catch up with Molly to talk about the anti-racist resources that are that have been compiled by a team at the library. While Molly hasn't been a librarian forever, she was working away on a master's in social welfare and working part-time at a library. And one of her heroes in the library world, a woman named Nancy Pearl, called Molly a creative genius. And when that happened, Molly thought, maybe I'll stick with this library thing, particularly when she found out that librarians and libraries can have a huge impact on social welfare. Molly is another place you may have seen her in a different form, inspired a character on the television show The Loud House on Nickelodeon. So without further ado, I'm really excited to share this video with you. It's Molly Wetta from the Santa Barbara Public Library. Molly, hello. I'm so glad that I get to spend some time with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm curious, what is it like being a librarian in a pandemic?
So very different, but very much the same. We are always innovating here at the Santa Barbara Public Library and trying to find new ways to meet people where they're at. So when we had to close in March, we just took a lot of our programming virtual. We were able to get the funding from the Santa Barbara Public Library Foundation to mail books to people since they couldn't come to pick them up. And we knew that especially children out of school or people with inexplicably a lot of free time on their hands, that books would be a comfort and a necessity. So, we did all of that. And now as things are starting to move up, we're a little slowly offering more services such as the curbside pickup of books. But I think most of all, it's always a challenge to try to meet the needs of the community. And now it's just a different set of challenges that we're facing.
Right. And not only are we in a pandemic, but we have other giant social changes happening. And I looked you up when I found the anti-racist resources that you and others at the library, I understand it was a team, have put together. Can you tell me some about that, and especially where can we find that?
Yeah, right now it's on the Santa Barbara Public Library website. There's a slider directing you to it right from the front page at sbplibrary.org. And we definitely always are responsive to the community needs and try to keep a pulse on what's happening in our community from a variety of different social issues. And we build our programming around that and also our collections. And so when all of the unrest and really the protests and the anger and the frustration and the uncertainty in response to, the police violence against Black people and the Black Lives Matter movement, it was clear that people had an interest in reading more about anti-racist works, about how to confront their own, white fragility. So those titles were easy to focus, but we also wanted to point people towards books that they could share with their children to help them understand what was happening in the world and why people were so upset and what their role could be in building a society where people are all treated equitably and justly. And so pulling together those resources to also celebrate the lives of Black people, their joy, their pain, their experiences. And we all know that books help us show a window into other people's experiences and can help build empathy. So that was a goal as well, to include fiction titles by Black authors.
Yeah. When I think about librarians, I think about how you curate things. The way you set up your spaces, the way that you choose certain books, you order things, you have a lot of decisions. And then I always wonder what's happening in your mind is like as you and the team were building that list, how are you imagining people using it? And are some of your thoughts being fulfilled? Do you have a way to see how many of us are checking out which things tell me what that's like to
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely try to curate and put the best resources on a topic, always acknowledging all sides of an issue, but have the best representatives of those and point those to it. I mean, I was even talking to my brother, who, as a white man who doesn't read a lot, but was interested in a starting point. And he's like, I see all these lists online from BuzzFeed or from, you know, other sources. Where do I really start? And so I was able to point him to like a couple of titles like Start Here. And I think a lot of people have that. We have information overload and people are sharing so much constantly. So to have a trusted source like the library where we are curating a list can give people a good starting point.
Yeah, when you talk about the information overload, and if you turn on any media now, it seems like we're all racing to a side without critically thinking. So you're reachable these days, are you not? So let's say that I was wanted to vet a source on the internet of something I've said. Can I call up a number and talk to a librarian about chasing sources down? How does that work?
Yeah, we're still doing email, chat, and phone reference these days. So you can call 805-962-7653 and get somebody Monday through Friday currently. And then email reference services at santabarbaraca.gov or online through our website. We also have a chat function if you prefer that. So, and we have done that. I mean, we've had people reach out. I don't understand where to get the best information about the coronavirus and what's happening here locally and what do I need to know. So we've been able to point them to those resources as well, and had a phenomenal outpouring of interest in the Black Lives Matter resources that we curated. And we can see all those statistics on what titles are being checked out and are able to, especially for our digital collection currently, that's the most accessible to people, add more copies and more titles of the ones most in demand. Luckily, we received some emergency funding towards the end of the fiscal year that allowed us to buy quite a few more titles of those most popular in-demand anti-racist books.
Excellent. Yeah, and before I pressed record, we were talking a little bit about the digital offerings are amazing. I'm using a lot of them, and I just love that I could just pull a book from the air and read it on my my e-reader, or I love to listen to audiobooks. So there's a lot of, you've made a lot of that stuff available for us, haven't you?
Yeah, we have pretty much the full suite of what's available through libraries, from streaming films through Canopy, which they've curated an excellent collection of documentaries and films about the Black Lives Matter movement as well, or Black Lives. And also we have Hoopla, where you can get not only ebooks and e-audiobooks, but comics and music and TV and movies, and then Overdrive as well with more audiobooks and ebooks.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm trying to spend a lot more time with these resources and less time on top 5 internet lists and so forth.
Yes.
It's just a little better for our brain, I think. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm so happy to be able to spend just a bit of time. I'm going to let you get back to work, but any thoughts about the great opening when we come back, or what are some of your hopes moving forward?
Yeah, I think that this entire situation, both with the pandemic and with the social justice movements currently happening, give us a time to reimagine what we want our public institutions and our work and our communities to be like in the future. So we're definitely having those conversations at the library. We're taking a critical look at a lot of our policies and procedures and our staff training, not only about sanitation, but also about equity, diversity, and inclusion. We're going to be taking a lot of that work on during this time. And we are interested in how well some of our programs have transferred to the virtual environment. We did a little bit of that before, where we would stream like our popular Trail Talk series on Facebook, but some other events that we've had, more people are able to participate and new people are joining our book clubs that could make it to in-person meetings. So I think it shows you that while we certainly have gaps, particularly the Spanish-speaking community has not joined us as much online as they did inside our building, or you know, not everybody has internet access at home and can take advantage of that, but looking into hybrid models of where we can meet people where they're at and share library resources.
Excellent. Yeah, you're well on the innovative path before all this happened. My partner and I were downtown and walked into the library, and there was punk rock bands playing on the first floor after hours.
Yes. And
So-
that'll be probably one of the last activities that we're able to bring back.
That's right.
You know, but we do say that we kind of fall as a building that welcomes, you know, well over 1,000 people a day.
Wow.
We're in that rock concerts are safe category.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we'll fully reopen when we're able to invite punk rocks into the stacks again.
Good. Well, I'm sure I'm not the only one that truly misses you and your team and just the books and the. But you're not closed. You're definitely doing a lot of work out there. So thank you.
Yes, definitely adapting and getting as much services as we can to the public currently.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll see you in the stacks.
Yes, for sure. Take care.
Okay, very good.